Okay, so get ready because today we are diving deep into the world of Palo Alto City Council meetings.
We're talking local government.
Exactly. And you might think,
Budgets.
yeah, all of ordinances. Right. But trust me on this, you're going to be surprised by how fascinating these meetings can be
It's true.
because you're interested in what's really going on, right?
Absolutely.
Like beyond just the headlines.
Yes.
And these meetings, they give us like a backstage pass to the real story.
It's like a window into what the community is really thinking and feeling.
Exactly. What are people fired up about? What are they worried about? That's what we are going to uncover today.
And these are the issues that really hit close to home for people.
And one of the things that makes Palo Alto so interesting is that they really encourage public comment,
They do.
which is where things get really good. So imagine this, okay? You walk into this room.
Okay.
It's buzzing with energy.
Right.
And it's not just like city council members there.
Right.
There are residents, there are activists, business owners,
All kinds of people.
all ready to make their voices heard.
Yeah.
It's a powerful reminder that these meetings aren't just for show, you know?
Absolutely not.
This is about direct engagement between citizens and their elected officials.
This is democracy in action.
Exactly.
It's that direct line of communication that's so important.
So let me give you an example.
Yeah.
Okay. I was going through the minutes from the March 4th meeting.
Okay.
And it's like this incredible mix of global issues smashing into these local concerns.
It's fascinating, isn't it?
It really is.
How these things connect.
Yeah. You've got one resident who's sharing their experience from a medical mission to Gaza.
Wow.
And they brought like these heartbreaking videos showing the impact of the conflict on children.
Yeah.
And it just hits you right.
It does.
Like even in a place like Palo Alto, you know, known for its tech industry,
Right.
global events, they resonate so deeply.
Absolutely.
And it's that human connection, right?
It is.
That makes it so powerful.
These aren't just abstract issues, you know.
Exactly.
These are real people's lives that are being impacted.
And then later in that same meeting,
Okay.
we go from that to this heated debate about the Israeli-Palestinian conflict.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and there are accusations of anti-Semitism being thrown around.
Yeah.
And it's striking to me how closely this local debate mirrors what's happening nationally.
It's a microcosm of the larger conversation.
Exactly.
It's really interesting to see how those dynamics play out at the local level.
And it shows how local communities become these battlegrounds for these big ideological struggles.
Right. Because these issues are so deeply felt.
And then just when you think you've seen it all,
Yeah.
someone brings up suicide risks on the train tracks.
Oh, wow.
And they want to know what the city is doing about it.
Rightfully so.
And it's just this stark reminder that city council meetings, they deal with life and death issues,
Absolutely.
not just like policy debates.
These are real-world consequences.
Exactly.
And it highlights the responsibility that these local officials have.
To make decisions that really affect people's lives.
Exactly.
And it's not just, you know, international conflicts or public safety they're dealing with.
Right.
They've got the whole affordable housing crisis to tackle, too.
Yeah.
Which brings us to the Buena Vista Mobile Home Park,
Yes.
that redevelopment project.
A prime example of the challenges these local governments face.
Because they're trying to balance all these competing needs
Absolutely.
and priorities.
No.
So for anyone who needs a refresher,
Okay.
Buena Vista Mobile Home Park, it's this older community,
Right.
and the city wants to redevelop it.
Yeah, okay.
The goal is to make life better for the people living there now,
Sure.
but also create more affordable housing in general.
Right.
Sounds great in theory.
Sounds like a win-win.
Right.
On paper, maybe?
Yeah.
But the reality is,
Yeah.
it's a lot more complicated.
Because you've got the residents, right?
You do.
Many of whom have lived there for years.
Years and years.
And they're worried about being displaced.
And who can blame them?
I know.
This is their home.
Yeah, they've built lives there. They have this community.
Exactly.
And now it's like everything's up in the air.
All this uncertainty.
And you can really feel that like anxiety
You can.
in their voices when they speak at the meetings.
Oh, absolutely.
I remember one resident talking about the lack of privacy
Oh, really?
in their unit.
Hmm.
They were told to just put up like a plastic sheet.
It's a plastic sheet.
Yeah, as a solution.
Oh, my gosh.
And another one was saying they felt pressured to sell,
wow.
even though they were desperate to stay.
That's tough.
And it just, you know, those stories, They bring it home.
They do.
That we're not just talking about units.
Yeah.
These are people's homes.
People's lives.
And then on the other side, you've got the city council
Right.
stuck in the middle.
Trying to make everyone happy. Yeah.
Trying to balance those concerns from residents
Yeah.
with the huge need for affordable housing.
Of course, because Palo Alto is not exactly known for being affordable.
All right.
It's a tough situation all around.
And then you bring in the legal side of things.
Oh, yeah.
Because California law
Right.
gives the state a lot of say,
Especially with affordable housing.
especially with affordable housing.
Housing Accountability Act. That's a big one.
Well, the city's got to navigate all that, too.
It's a web of regulations.
Creates tension sometimes
Oh, for sure.
between local control and state mandates.
Absolutely.
So you've got passionate residents.
Yeah.
You've got a city council trying to make these impossible decisions.
Right.
And this overarching challenge of how do you make housing affordable?
It's like a Gordian knot.
It really is.
Where do you even begin to untangle all of that?
Exactly. And then you start to realize
Yeah.
that just watching the council members themselves,
Interest.
how they interact,
Yeah.
how they vote,
Hmm.
can be really revealing.
It's like watching a game of chess.
It is.
Every move is calculated.
I'm ready to break down those moves.
Okay, let's do it.
I'm ready to break down those moves.
All right, let's talk strategy.
So where do we even begin with this political chess match?
Well, it's funny, sometimes the most telling moments,
Yeah,
they aren't the big explosive arguments.
right.
It's those quieter disagreements
Okay.
on these seemingly small things.
Interesting.
Those can really give you a glimpse into their thinking.
Like what? Give me an example.
So remember that March 11th meeting?
Yeah.
During the consent calendar part, Councilmember 2, she spoke up
Yeah.
about the lack of cost information
Sure.
on one of the reports.
That does seem like a pretty small detail
Right.
in the grand scheme of things.
But it tells you something.
What? What does it tell you?
It tells you she cares about the details,
Okay.
about fiscal responsibility.
So even for those smaller expenditures.
Exactly. Every dollar counts.
So by paying attention to those little things,
Mm-hmm.
we start to see the bigger picture.
You start to see what's important to them,
It's
is that
so-
their priorities are.
It's like those small disagreements.
Yeah.
They foreshadow those bigger battles to come.
They're a sign of things to come.
Now, another council member I found really interesting.
Oh, yeah, that.
Councilmember Tanaka.
Okay, what about him?
He seems to always oppose
Oppose what?
any talk of council salary increases.
Oh, that's right.
What do you think that says?
Well, it could be a few things, right?
Okay.
Maybe he's genuinely trying to save the city money.
Okay.
Or maybe he's playing to his base,
Interesting.
trying to look fiscally conservative.
Right. Make a statement.
Exactly.
It makes me wonder, though,
What's that?
how that translates to other budget decisions.
Yeah.
Is he going to be consistently pushing for, like, smaller government?
Right. Lower taxes
Yeah, but then maybe that means cutting social programs.
or infrastructure.
It's something to watch, for sure.
Definitely keep an eye on that.
And going back to the suicide risks
Oh, yeah.
on the train tracks,
Right.
it wasn't just that it was brought up,
Mm-hmm.
but how the council members reacted to it.
What do you mean?
Well, this wasn't just some abstract policy debate.
No.
This was about a very real and immediate concern.
Of course it was a matter of life and death.
Exactly.
So how did they react?
Some were all about immediate action.
Okay.
More patrols, public awareness campaigns.
Trying to do something.
Yeah, and others were more like,
Hesitant.
yeah, like let's get more data first.
Interesting.
Really interesting to see those different approaches.
It is. It's like a microcosm of how they approach governing in general.
Right. Some are more action-oriented.
And some are more cautious.
So we've got the passion, the dilemmas,
The draw.
all playing out in these meetings.
They're more interesting than you think.
It makes you wonder how this is all going to shape Palo Alto's future.
Right. What will the city look like in 5 years? 10 years?
What are the big takeaways here?
Well, first, local government. It's about real people
Absolutely.
with real problems.
And these meetings, they give us a front row seat to that.
We see the struggles, and we see those small victories.
We saw such a range of concerns from residents.
We really did.
Global issues to hyper-local ones.
It's amazing how it all intersects.
It is, and it's also a reminder
Of what?
that local government is complicated.
Oh, it's incredibly complex.
Balancing the needs of residents
With the needs of the city as a whole.
with legal constraints.
With budgets.
It's a lot.
It's a delicate dance.
And finally, paying attention matters.
It really does.
These meetings might not always be the most exciting thing,
True.
but this is where decisions are made.
Decisions that affect all of us.
Exactly. By being engaged.
Yeah.
By holding our elected officials accountable.
Absolutely.
who can help shape the future of our communities.
That's the power of local government.
Yeah, and on that note,
A little something to ponder.
I do love a good cliffhanger. So we saw how passionate people are about the Israeli-Palestinian conflict.
They are very passionate.
How do you think the council is going to handle those potentially divisive resolutions in the future?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it?
And it really is.
It'll be fascinating to see how they navigate that.
Absolutely. And with the Buena Vista project,
Yes.
what compromises are going to have to be made?
Right, because you have to balance the needs of the residents with the need for more affordable housing.
It's a tough one.
It'll be interesting to see what solutions they come up with.
If you're as hooked on this local drama as we are,
Who isn't?
check out the show notes
We'll have all the links to the meeting minutes.
so you can explore for yourself.
Get into the weeds.
Happy deep diving, everyone!
See you next time.